Good evening and welcome to tonight's live. Tonight I'm going to speak to Nadine from NP Narratives about a whole host of wonderful things. As you're joining, please do say hi in the comments. Let me know that you're here. I'm just going to send some invites to some incredible people who always show up to lives who I feel like might get some value out of today. So let me know you're here when you arrive, and if you're watching this on the replay, do leave us a little comment as well and say hi, because that is always good to see. Oh, hi Nadine, you're here already. Let's go. You've nice and early, nice and on time. I love that.
Hey,
Hello. How are you?
I'm okay. I did the red lips because I know you like a red lip.
Do you know what? I've not worn lipstick all day, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to cheer up my face. And
Literally, that's what I did. I was like, got 10 minutes, put some red lips on, Fanica.
how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm tired. Baby's just clingy today. So yeah.
How old is she now?
Oh, almost 2.5 months now.
Oh gosh.
But it's gone quick. It's gone so quick. But yeah.
Everyone on my page knows who I am, or they should.
Yeah.
But we are still, I'm not, but everyone's new to who you are. So do you want to
Yeah.
introduce yourself and talk to us about the magic that you bring into the world?
Okay, hey everyone. So my name is Nadine. I recently created or founded MPN Narratives, which is basically a space that I've cultivated specifically for women of color, but not excluding what we would call now in this day and age our white allies. And it's predominantly to give women of color a voice. Over the years, as you know, I've done like my undergrad in English literature and media. Then I went on to do my master's in Black British writing at Goldsmiths. And even though I was privy to the fact that due to like slavery and colonialism and all of that jazz, Black women have been like the most oppressed people out there. But it only hit me how prominent it is still today when I was doing my master's. And it kind of helped direct the writing that I do because I write. Some consider me a poet, but I don't follow conventions. So that's why I'm a little bit like, I'll just say writer. And from doing the masters, it kind of helped to inform more of the pieces that I'm doing today. So not everything necessarily is guided by race, like most of it is to do with womanhood, but there are pieces where I do kind of dig a bit deeper into the racial sides and experiences of being a Black woman, predominantly in the UK. Yeah.
Amazing, in a nutshell, and that is she really just barely touched the surface. Nadine is absolutely incredible. As I've mentioned in a few of these lives, a lot of people I've met online on Twitter or doing a networking hour now. And what I love about Nadine is that I know from witnessing from afar that you've given writing a little bit over the years. And it really feels like in 2020 you should really embrace it. This is what you're doing, getting the message out there. And I think that's wonderful.
Thank you. I feel like a lot of it was to do with, sorry, I'm holding the phone with my hand. A lot of it was to do with more of my own self-belief. So even though over the years people have really enjoyed my writing, they said my writing is really good and that I should do a book and all this stuff, I took the compliment half-heartedly and was kind of like, oh, thank you, but never really believing or owning the fact that, like, okay, you are a writer, you do like poetry, you can write prose pieces, you do bits of flash fiction work. And it was towards the end of 2019 when I was kind of like, look, you're not getting any younger. If you're going to do it now. And then I launched a website, and that's kind of formulated itself into exactly how I wanted it to be now. I feel like I've got the aesthetics exactly how I envisioned them ages ago, but just could never figure out how to kind of do it. And then as we went into, what are we in now? September, it's going too quick. So from around August, I thought, okay, how can I kind of use this as not only a service to other people, but do what people have been telling me to do for ages, which is start monetizing it instead of giving like everything I have away for free. So that's when I started MPN Journals, which is kind of an online subscription that has a variety of like affirmations, note to self, poetry. I am doing like spotlight interviews with women of color who encourage me or inspire me or have motivated me over the years, and whose work I think is really aligned with what I do and very important to get out there also. Because I think in this, especially social media, it's all about having like the followers, and some people that don't have the followers get overlooked, but they have amazing content. So I wanted to kind of offer my platform as like a sub line for those people that want to kind of get out there as well. So all good things happening.
I feel like that's so beautiful actually, because it's like you've given yourself first of all permission to be a writer now. You've said to yourself, we're doing this now. We're not messing about. Okay, we're not 21 anymore, we're 25, we're doing this. And so you're giving yourself permission to do writing, but you're also paving the way for other writers, because you know how it feels to feel like you might be able to do something, but you just haven't got the platform.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, especially creatives, or anyone in general, but I know a lot more for creatives, there's always that thing of we spend a lot of time worrying about what everybody else is doing and comparing ourselves to people that are doing the same thing. And I think I've had that little voice in my head for ages that's being like, yeah, it's okay, but does anybody really want to see it? Yeah, it's okay, but that person knows you, so they're probably just saying it's nice because they're a family member or a friend. And I've literally had to come into my own where it's like, no, I know my stuff's good, or I wouldn't be doing it. It brings me lots of peace. It brings me lots of joy. So regardless of who likes it, I'ma just put it out there. And whoever it resonates with, that's exactly who it's meant for. And not to kind of get too stuck on the idea of creating for the world. I think once I started to learn to create for myself first and foremost, everything kind of started to flow. It became more aligned with all the other opportunities that I've been given over the past year or so. So
you cracked the code, and
that's got to get out of your head. That's what I'm learning. It's literally that.
To writing, and even with what you said about you write poetry, but you wouldn't call yourself a poet because of the conventions. But then academic writing is very different to writing.
Yeah.
It really is. And I think it's quite different if you are writing something because you're trying to you're trying to hit all these different components, rather than when you write something because your heart really just felt like it's quite different.
Yeah.
I feel like as you've allowed yourself to call, as you've accepted you're a writer now, it's nothing new. You've accepted it now. Maybe like everything else will come.
Yeah, it's kind of like when they say when you unblock those spaces and those areas, and then everything just kind of floods in all at once. The response I've gotten has been somewhat overwhelming, but appreciated more than anything else. But yeah, academic writing is way different. In my undergrad, I could kind of I got by, and then my masters, it was real trying to get out of that. Sometimes my work was called flowery because I would go off on a tangent on these long, beautiful sentences. And I just like, you can say that in 4 words, and it's like, come on, let's bring this back in. So yeah, I had to kind of learn the hard way when it came to academic versus creative.
It's something else completely. So I'm looking down to I've got notes because I didn't want to miss out on everything. So you've already told us about your writing journey, which I think is wonderful. So what is in the future for Nadine? What's coming for MP narrative?
For MP narratives, so like I said, I created like a sister branch for MPN journals. So I would say at the moment, MP narrative is more of the umbrella that encompasses everything else. So at the moment, I'm kind of focusing more on the MPN journals. I have recently decided just to kind of like do things to come out of my comfort zone, because I don't want to be that person that's saying to women of color, use your voice, raise your voices, and I say nothing unless it's on a page. So I've tried to like come out of my comfort zone now and start to do more lives, which will hopefully help me to build up confidence in regards to doing maybe live workshops. So for the month of October, with it being Black History Month, I've decided to do Outspoken October, which will just be a series of talks, yeah, with, like I said, women of color that I love and enjoy, and I see their stuff and I kind of want to have conversations with them that I've had in my head. And just give people the platform to kind of express themselves on specific topics. So that will run throughout the course of October. I haven't got like a set schedule where it's going to be every day. I'm aiming for possibly 2 to 3 times a week, just because I've got 4 kids, so it's a lot. And when I do the sessions by myself, I kind of want it to be more interactive. So I would love for people to kind of press the request to come on live with me, have their say, and kind of build a rapport in my audience, because at this moment in time, I'm new. So I don't want to kind of force myself on people, and I don't want people to just buy into the brand. I want them to kind of understand that there is a person behind it and there's a real reason why I'm pushing this out there the way that I am. So that is the main thing happening for me right now.
That's incredible. And you know what? I think it will work, because I think with social media anyway, you know, you can have the most beautiful aesthetic, but if you never actually show your personality, go on stories or even lives or do a little video or whatever, people never really get to know you.
Exactly.
You can have terrible, ugly posts, really horrible stuff, but they follow you because they really like you and how you show your day,
yeah,
or something like that. So
and you've been like a main kind of inspiration in that side, because I remember like all of your writing stuff before, and then I remember you slowly like creeping onto the gram, and then it was like, okay, I'm gonna do an IG story. And I just remember the first one you did, and you were like really, you felt shy, and you was like, I'm gonna, but you pushed through it. And I just thought, oh, if Annika can do it, then I hopefully can do it one day, kind of thing. And even though it's taken me several years to get here, it's like, it's possible, because you've grown so much from where you started off, and it's so evident, and it's so real and authentic to what you stand by and your beliefs, and like I said, what you're trying to advocate. It's really, really admirable. So I just feel like if women out there can do it, then by God, I can do it myself. So
we can all
round of applause to you.
And I love that, actually, because I'm saying now, especially to new people connecting, that I wasn't always this confident. You know, I wasn't always like this. Leave every word to me, I might come across a bit like victory first.
Yeah.
But when you show the journey, like you people, like your community, your online community, they buy into that, and that's why, you know, people are going to see you.
Yeah.
And that, you know, they're not expecting you to be polished, expecting you to be who you are, the queen that you are. And that's all they'll stick around, and that's what they'll say. And you never know, in a year or so, you could be doing this with somebody who followed your page and thought, you know what, I'm just going to do a live.
Exactly. Like some of the feedback I got from doing my last live on Sunday was really, really uplifting, because I was nervous, but in a good way, where I knew I'm going to do it anyway, regardless. But then so many things started to happen like 10 minutes before, and I was like, I refuse to reschedule this, we're going to do this. Hello, high water. And I literally ended up having my baby, I was breastfeeding, I was doing the whole thing. But people loved it. They were just like, this is kind of the stuff that we want to see, like real life, not necessarily always polished all the time and Instagram ready, because at the end of the day, that isn't the life that people lead. Like, we're all out here trying our best to get to where we need to go to. So yeah,
it is that realness, it is that openness and honesty. And it's like, you know, you could go on. I think I went on earlier and I was like, I'm not feeling great today. It's fine.
Yeah, literally. And I think it's a good message to push as well, because like I said, I don't want to be on here spouting stuff that isn't true to me. So like we say to each other, like, if you don't feel okay, it's okay. Like, there's nothing, you don't have to be on 10 every single day. It's unrealistic. You're going to beat yourself up over it, because I know there's been times that I've literally, the perfectionist in me wants to have everything just neatly tied up in a bow and ready to go and all nicely packaged, and it's just like, that is almost like fake news, really. Like, it doesn't exist. I can make it up as much as I want, but technically that's fake news. So yeah, I think a lot of like I said, getting out of your head, coming out of your comfort zone plays a big role in the kind of steps that I want to take forward.
I love that, and you are absolutely setting the standard. Like you're paving the way for everyone else. So I know that when you are doing your writing and whatever you do next, whatever you create, you are living in your truth, and people will see that, and people will connect with that. And that's what I feel like when you are. See, we say authentic, and it feels like a buzzword, but when you are just yourself, it's
Hmm.
easy because
It is.
you just create yourself, you create what you think, your ideas, you're just sharing what was already in here. You don't have
Yeah.
to plot and plan it. You might think about, you might think about how am I going to do this. But what you say, it feels so natural. And I love that you're doing it.
Yeah, in my mind sometimes, I don't know if it's the same for you because you have daughters as well. Sometimes I write for them. Like I think to myself, when they get older and they read stuff that I put out there, what do I want them to see?
Yeah.
And like I want them to see those type of representations already, because even though we're all talking about it, it's still not as vast as it should be.
Mm.
So things like that always kind of have my brain ticking, and I think that helps with the authenticity of what it is that I'm trying to convey. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And, absolutely, my thing is that if anything was to happen to me and my girls were to Google my name, but
Yeah.
my mates in so many different, and they could get a sense of who I was, kind of thing. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Very morbid, but I think of that just because my mum was so young when she died, and I'm nearing that age, and I'm just thinking, like, how many ways can they find the legacy that I've left for them? How can they get a sense of my values and live by example?
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. And not legacy is always a material,
Yeah.
tangible thing that you can touch. Sometimes you just literally have to leave wealth in different ways. So yeah, totally agree.
Absolutely. So we've talked a little bit about your writing, and everybody who's joining us, if at any point you have a question, please just post it in the comments, and we'll answer as we go. But my next questions were going to be around your studying. So you've got
Yeah.
a whole master's.
Yeah. Whole masters. But I'm still paying off.
Tell us about your studying journey. I don't know if were you a mature student when you went back?
Yeah. Mature student. In when would that have been? Like early 2000s, I technically should have went university because I did graphic design and fine art. Like I've always dabbled in like creative qualifications. And I just remember at that point being like, I don't want to go to university. Like all of my classmates were really excited filling out their UCAS forms. And I remember having this really long conversation with my tutor, like, I don't want to go to university. I just want to go and work and make money and have a life that doesn't involve books anymore. Like, and then years and years later, after the kids came, I just had my first daughter, and I was like, okay, what do you want to do? I think it's a point in your life where you need a career, because I was early 30s around then. And I went to apply for uni only to find out that I didn't have enough credits and that I kind of had to start from scratch. So I ended up doing a functional skills maths. And I thought, oh, while I'm here, I'll do my GCSE English. So I did that, passed those, ended up doing an access to education course because I wanted to be a teacher in secondary school before I kind of found out all the background politics that happens in schools that I don't really like. So then I did that, got through that in a year, and then I applied for my undergrad doing English literature and media at South Bank University, London South Bank. And that was amazing. Those 3 years, I think, taught me so much, even in regards to the books that I would read. I was very much like Eric Jerome Dickey, Omar Tari, like very specialized reading. And it just opened up my eyes to world perspectives, really, because I think some people don't understand that reading really shows you more about the world than the news would when you read like a plethora of books. So I did that. It was amazing. Managed to walk away with up class 2-1. I was really proud of that because I had some hurdles along the way, especially towards the end. And then I was going to stop. And something said the momentum, just keep it going. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do my master's. But originally I was going to do my master's in English Lit at London South Bank. And it was only because of a classmate of mine was like, oh, you like all of your pro-black books and stuff like that. There's a course at Goldsmiths, but it wasn't advertised. You can't find it literally unless somebody tells you about it. or
Oh
you follow
wow.
Goldsmith. Yeah, it's a really, really niche masters. It's the only one in the world.
Oh wow.
Um, the tutors on there, two of the tutors on there created it, and with Goldsmiths being what I would class as quite a racist institution, which I didn't think it would be considering its reputation, they just don't promote it. So I typed in a Google, found out about it, really, really interested me, decided to do it over 2 years, because at that point I was expecting. Um, so then I got into the course, found out that, like I said, they didn't promote it. I remember going to my induction and there was like maybe 7 of us. So I was like, oh, okay. So there's going to be more people tomorrow. And I remember the lecturer being like, no, this is the class and probably half of you are going to be gone before we even get through the first year. And I was like, wow, that they made it really hard. They made it hard for the students. They made it hard for the lecturers. And it's bittersweet because in some ways I feel like it heightened the experience of learning about Black history and physically feeling the effects of it institutionally and systemically firsthand. Because I think before I knew it was happening, but not so much turning a blind eye. I was just very naive to the facts
Yeah.
that the world was still like this. And then by doing that, it kind of, like I said, urged me on to kind of see what I could do, whether that be within my home, whether that be within my social circles or local community, to kind of make some sort of change or help the shifts start to happen. But by doing it, I learned a lot about history. I met a lot of established writers that I didn't even know existed. Like, it really, really naive of me. Most of the things that we see about Blackness or the Black experience is usually African or American. It's really rare to see like Black people in the UK unless you're privy to it to begin with, which most of us weren't on the course. And just being at certain events where our teachers kind of let us bathe ourselves literally in all of this amazing Black excellence, being able to make connections with certain writers, being able to have certain writers become mentors. I know that I wouldn't have been able to get that experience if I never did the course. So as hard as it was at times, I think it was probably the best thing I ever did. It has made me want to do a PhD, but I'm not ready. I need a break after like 7 consecutive years. I need a break from studying books. So I just want to read now. No deadlines.
I have to say that in your description of it, you've absolutely sold that masters.
It is amazing. It's a proper amazing course. I think at one point they were trying to overshadow it by Goldsmiths creating their own version, which is literally a carbon copy of the one that already exists. But once again, because it was curated by a Black woman, they don't really want to have it on there. It goes as far as we weren't even part of the English department. We were part of theatre.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like it's really, really deep. Like, even if we had to do events, the students would have to help. We would literally help by like being servers or being ushers or helping at registrations. It's really bad, really, really bad. Considering the other English groups that we had that had maybe like 30, 35 students, we ended up, I think, in the last year, some people were able to do it as a top-up module. So there were a few more numbers, but I think in the end, 6 of us graduated, 6 or 7, and then the rest all deferred because it was just like a lot of stress. So some of them are still trying to do it now, and obviously COVID's happened, so that's kind of thrown a spanner in the works. But I would recommend it to people. I feel like if you do want to get a sense of your Black British history, it's definitely worthwhile doing.
Amazing. So with that being said, and you having done it, what would you say was your biggest takeaway from doing, not even studying the maths, but the whole experience? Because I suppose it gave you even more ground to think about what it is that you're learning.
Yeah. My main takeaways were that as a Black woman, I'm deserving. Like, it taught me a lot about my worth. It taught me a lot about using my voice, accepting the fact that I do have the right to be here. Like, I have the right to occupy any space. that I want to be in, if not even make my own spaces that I want to be in. That was another reason why I started MP Narratives. Because when I was looking on the internet, like I said, I only saw American women doing it. And I just thought, no, let me make my own space that I feel comfortable in. And hopefully women that look like me and have similar life to me and experiences as I do can feel the same way. Because like I said, we're sold the dream that changes have happened and we're so progressive over here, and it's bollocks, really. Do you know what I mean? It's literal bollocks. So I think those personal things are what I've taken away from it, and I think that's what's made that course have like a special place in my heart, really, because I don't think I would have this same mentality or understanding of the world that I'm in if I didn't do it.
That's amazing. And I love that you made sure that you got loads out of that experience. Like, you didn't go and you felt conquered by it. You didn't go and feel like I can't finish it. Although I imagine there were probably times when you felt like that. But
Yeah.
it sounds like you absolutely made it work for you and your interest. You turned it on its head.
Yeah, there were several times, like I said, the first time I was expecting, unfortunately, I lost the baby during the course. And I could have just given up because that was the second pregnancy. When I finished my undergrad, I also lost a baby. And once again, I just thought, no. Like, I am a determined person anyway because I'm a Leo. And it's just in my bones to be this way.
I know Leo women. Leo women are forcefully reckoning.
Yeah, we're literally just like, I was like, no. I know what you're trying to do, universe. I can cope. Which I did. And I made it through and I lasted the test of time. Like I said, a few people dropped out within the first couple months just from the pressure of the workload and from the racism that was being kind of shown to us. But yeah, I wouldn't have dropped out. It's not in me. Any course that I've done, I've never left. I can't do it.
You don't quit. You're not.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Which, well, thank you so much for just being so open and honest about that. And you've still sold the course, even though you've been really honest about it. You know, because it still stands up.
Yeah, I still feel like it's something that should be done, and I think that in itself challenges the institution to take these courses more seriously, especially when they are an institution that states that they're decolonizing the minds. It's like, okay, put your money where your mouth is, because a lot of things that have happened in Goldsmith have been built off Black people. So we deserve to be there. We have the right to be there. And like I said, occupy those spaces as well, regardless if they want us there or not. So they offered the course. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Might as well go.
Thank you again. It's so interesting. I feel like that. I wonder if we'll talk about that again at some point. But I'd like to move over to the next topic, which was around motherhood.
Yeah.
Just tell us about your family and your kids and how that's kind of played into much of what you do now, because you do all this amazing stuff, like being a mum to all your children. So what does that look like for you?
Oh, tiring. Tiring but doable. Luckily, I have a really amazing husband. Oh, sorry, my mom's trying to call. Yeah, and he has been really supportive over the years. I don't know how you did it as a single parent, because even with him here, sometimes it's still really hard, especially say when he's working. He does like security, so he has like a lot of long hours. So there's times where it's just me and the kids here, and like you said, having to study, having to do the housework, having to cook dinner, having to do schoolwork alongside job work. It is a lot, but I am a very organized person. I have learned to let control go a little bit. I was very much a person that had to have control over every little aspect, and even that kind of used up my energy. So I've kind of let that go. As I said to you before, I have 4 children. So I've got a 13-year-old boy, a 12-year-old boy, a 9-year-old daughter, and I just had a baby the other day, and I have a little girl, and I'm done. Like,
no more.
No. The factory, my last pregnancy was enough to remind me that your body is not 20. I had to have a lot of invasive stuff happen, so I'm just like, nah, we've got the rainbow baby, we can stop now. And it's equaled out, 2 and 2, we're good. But in regards to that, I'm lucky in the fact that my children are very sensible. So they can they're very independent, which is lovely, because I know some of my friends, even who are single parents or have partners with them, kind of struggle with that because their children are still very much dependent on them. I don't know if it's because how me and my husband are, that they kind of see that we like to grind and hustle in this house. So when stuff has to get done, there's like a time and a place to play. There's a time and a place for us to have our quality time together as a family. We try to do like single dates with the kids when we can. But I think they understand that they are cogs in the wheel as well. They're part of the process. They're not separate to it. So even with the MPN journals, they're very much like wanting to know if I've got any new subscribers, if there's anything they can do. Yeah, can they help me with the baby, which is really good. Like now they're kind of watching her for me while she's sleeping. So I think things like that have made it easier. Whether that was going into university, transitioning out of university. At one point I was working, studying, being a mum, being a wife, doing all of it. And it was hard, but they make it easy. They do get on my nerves sometimes. Let's not get twisted. Like we have the conversations of, I love you, but today I don't like you. Yeah. But we make it work together. The little pride that we have, make it work. So yeah.
I love that. It really sounds like you're a team. You know, like you're all in this together, and so you're working with them. So you're not. This is kind of probably a weird analogy, but you're not talking at them. You're talking with them. So it's everything a conversation. We're all in this together, and I kind of love that.
Yeah.
And I feel like motherhood is so incredibly hard, and I think it's hard for us all, whether you've got somebody there with you or you haven't. It is so challenging. And I feel like with mums as well, we always have all the tabs open in our head.
Yeah.
Do this, we've got to iron that shirt, we've got to do this and get some milk.
Yeah.
All the time. Especially when it's tied in with your own personal ambitions.
Yeah. I literally had, when was it? 2019, early 2019, 2019, 2019. Yeah, I'm saying that right. See, baby brain. And I remember signing up to do life coaching sessions with, I don't know if anybody knows who Shani Lewis is. She's Good to Me UK.
Her name sounds familiar though.
She's amazing. And I basically had to like use her to kind of help me learn how to close those tabs down and know when to have certain ones open and when to say, okay, this isn't happening this week, or I can't do this today, and kind of learning to understand, even as a mother, when my cup is too full and when my cup needs to be filled. And it made a huge difference in regards to just like my anxiety levels. I became less irritable at times, because when you're a mum, they're just on you all the time. Like, if you get rid of one, the other one comes. If one wants a drink, then another one wants to drink. And even when daddy's there, children have a way of bypassing them. Like, there's times when dad could be doing absolutely nothing. I could be in the bath, and yet they find their way to the bath to ask me something. So, yeah, definitely kind of, I would say, make those moments to give back to yourself. Oh, look, there's hubby now. I'm just on the phone. Sorry, hubby just kind of came into the kitchen. I'm trying to hide. Trying to hide from everyone. But yeah, literally learning to give back to myself was a game changer. A real game changer.
What would you say has been your biggest challenge with motherhood so far?
I think it is, and it's probably going to be for a while, but trying to split up my time amongst all of them. Obviously, the boys are quite close in age, so it's a bit easier because I can kind of give them the same thing. They're interested in the same thing, so it's not as hard. But once we get to Kalia, who's 9, she's a whole diva in herself. She's basically a mini-me. She's a Leo. So I have like everything that I do, she does. Yeah. And now I've got baby, that's literally thrown a spanner in the works in obviously how much time I can dedicate to each child. I will say that they're content because they don't complain about it unless they're having conversations amongst themselves that I don't know about. But that for me is the biggest thing, trying to make sure that everybody kind of knows that I am here for each of
Mm.
them and the stages of life that they're going through, because obviously now puberty is real in the house. Um, but outside of that, I think we kind of navigate it well. I wouldn't say there's anything that kind of stands out where it's like a red flag that has to be addressed. I just wish that I had more than 24 hours sometimes.
Don't we all? But we would still be
Yeah,
busy and they would still find a way to
exactly.
stay. Okay, so what would you feel is your biggest lesson that motherhood has taught you so far?
Oh, motherhood has taught me, I would say, especially this time round, the biggest thing is gratitude. I
Mm.
think when I went through that period of having the two preterm labors, that kind of taught me to appreciate the little things in life. And then being able to kind of bring forth my daughter, it literally just made me feel like everything needs to be held really close. Doesn't matter how small, how big, and just to celebrate myself more. I think as a mum, we give so much to everybody else. And when you're a mum, you end up, if you weren't before, you usually end up giving to others outside of that scope.
Mm.
And you just forget to give to yourself and to celebrate the smallest things, even if that's just you getting through all of your housework today and knowing you have nothing to do for the next 2 days in regards to your home. Like, it's those things. Um, And I think it's taught me, each of my kids have taught me how to love in different ways because they kind of all need it in different ways. Um, I think sometimes we think of love as like this very clear cut thing, and it's very complex and it's very unique between the people that it's being shared with. Um,
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
I think that would be the main two three things that, yeah, motherhood has taught me. But I'm
Oh,
glad to take away.
yeah. You have all of that. But, no, that's beautiful. And I really like the idea. Well, not even the idea. I just like that it's like your love is person centered. Like you recognise your children's need you differently.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you adapt it to that, because I feel like sometimes maybe previous generations, a child was a child. You're seen, you're not heard, and it's just one way of doing things. Whereas I feel like now with where we're at, we're more open to actually our child as a person and what do they
Hmm.
need and how can we do to accommodate that. I'm just going to check in on the comments. Today,
Yeah.
hi everybody. Octavia said thank you, beautiful story. Um, yeah, please do leave any questions in the comments. There's another Nadine. Hi Nadine. Um,
Yeah.
any questions, please just leave it in the comments and we'll answer it as we go. And thank you so much for sharing your motherhood journey. I find it so fascinating just to hear different women's motherhood journey, because they're all so different.
They're
There's a
all
similarity.
different.
They're all different. There's a similarities in the whole thing about trying to, give your time to everybody and not really feeling like you've ever got enough time, but actually always doing better than you realise that you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. And it's the thing of, I realized that I did have the time. I just wasn't using my time wisely.
Mm.
Literally, like the amount of times when I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I can't sleep. It's like, no, but you can sleep though. You can go to sleep. Yes, you can write that piece today. Like, there's always a way around it. I think as women, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to always keep things running smoothly for everybody else. And it's just like, you can do it. You just don't have to do it all today. Literally, there's 7 days in a week. You
Yeah,
don't have to do it all today.
you got time. So okay, that brings us quite nicely over onto our next topic, which was all about coming into self.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like much of what you're talking about here is about the conversations that we have with ourselves.
Yeah.
And the stories we tell ourselves that, you must get all this done before Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And it's like, actually, who said that? So I've got a question for you. You might want to take a minute to think about it.
Okay.
But this phase of your life that you're in right now, and especially in regards to the relationship you have with yourself, if it was a chapter in a book, what would you call it?
I would call it, what would I call it? I would call it probably the season of change. Just because not only am I embracing change, I'm making changes that are like necessary for myself, whether that's setting boundaries, whether that's setting goals, intentions. Um, I feel like I am making changes in other people's lives, beknownst to me or not. And I feel like on a global scale, there's a lot of change happening that kind of affects us as individuals and as a collective. So yeah, I think season of change would be perfect.
I like that. I like that. Was a good answer. You've
It's the writer in me, isn't it?
Okay, so my next question was going to be, what does it look like for you? But I feel like you've given a really good explanation of that. I've just seen lots of feedback sound from me. I can hear it, but I'm not sure how it's happening. Because I can hear myself. No? Stop. Okay. But thank you for leaving change too. Yeah. Okay then. So do we have any questions from our lovely audience? Nadine has been very open and honest and shared her journey. Do you have any?
I've got a question for you. How did you find the whole studying? Sorry, I'm all leaning in. How did you find the studying and motherhood, especially as a single parent?
I had a lot of anxiety around it, but that was mostly around who's going to pick the children up kind of thing, because some of my courses, some of my modules finished at later time, at like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. So in my
Yeah.
head, like, the school club finishes at this time, who's going to pick them up from there? You know, I can't rely on the other parent and reliability. Once I sorted all that out, I felt better with it, and the girls really have always wanted me to pick them up from school. So as soon as I left uni and I was able to do that, they've loved that. And even now, I've changed my job so that I work on my school hours to be able to do that for them. But I found it, I loved uni, really enjoyed doing it. Making that work around the kids was fine. It was just battling it with everything else, like mental health and stuff. But yeah. Oh,
Okay.
still stressful with higher education studies. So
It is.
I had a childminder. In the first year, I had a childminder who picked them up and give them dinner, and then I'd pick them up and let them go to bed. But when I changed my second and my third year, I used a different childminder because the one didn't have the availability. And she didn't give them dinner, she gave them a snack. And I thought, like, for a long day, do you know what I mean?
It is, and childcare is so expensive. Like, it's like paying rent somewhere else. It's really ridiculous. Crazy. Also, I wanted to know, what obstacles did you come across in regards to the other businesses that you've started now? Because I know you've got Awesome, you did the book, obviously you've been writing for ages, and been involved in like other campaigns and charities. Like, how are you managing it? Like, what are the hurdles that you've had to kind of jump over?
To be fair, I am my biggest hurdle. Simply because I live in my head a lot. And I never ever really feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. I always feel like I'm edging closer. And I have a lot of self-doubt around much of the stuff that I do, but I still do it.
Yeah.
But it does hold me back, to be fair. And even like some stuff that I'm working on now and some ideas that I've had, I'm like, it's going to be really rubbish. I delay it, you know, I delay it.
Yeah.
But it will get done. So much of what you'll see that I put out, you know, I probably didn't love it at first, or maybe I loved it when it was in my head. But it came out of my head, I wasn't sure anybody else was. So I'm always pleasantly surprised when everything gets a good response. But yeah, I am the hurdle. I am literally it.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Like the Nadine that's in the comments, Nadine Sankroff, she's literally my soundboard, my cheerleader. She's everything. I have those moments like you where I just kind of get in my head a bit. And I remember just launching the MPN journals and kind of getting feedback from people like, oh my gosh, it's really good, the aesthetics, the content, blah, 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 blah. And I just said to her, like, if I knew it was going to feel this good, why did I take so bloody long to do it? But then it's that thing of like, I don't want to get too caught up in it to the point where I feel like I'm just chasing the feeling and not really following the purpose that's behind why I'm doing what I'm doing or the intentions that I've laid out for it. So yeah, I feel when it comes to the creative side, I can get in my head very easily. Other stuff, I can snap out of it quite quickly. And I think as a writer, because it's our stuff, it's very, very close to the heart. So you kind of want it to be accepted and loved by others, treated gently.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that whatever my purpose is, that I'm always on the right path and I'm always doing what I need to do. But I don't share my ideas with anybody. Really, I don't trust anyone. I need a me. I need a me to talk to. I do actually think that if I got it out of my head and spoke to somebody, it would make the world different. Because I don't. Maybe that's the problem. That's probably what it is. Yeah.
Maybe voice note yourself.
Ooh.
Yeah. Literally have a conversation with yourself.
Dude, I probably
yeah, procrastination is a killer. That's one thing I try not to do, is procrastinate. But then sometimes that goes the other way, where I have an idea and I have to do it instantly. And then I look back at it and I'm like, why did you do that? It was not ready yet. It was not fully baked. So yeah.
Also with procrastination, I do this a lot as well. I feel like sometimes we leave things to the last second because we're self-sabotaging as well. And so we're not giving ourselves enough time to do whatever it is that we said we were going to do.
Yeah.
And then that feeds into that idea that we had, and it was going to be awful anyway.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, does anyone have any questions while we're here?
Oh, hey, Char and team. Sorry, just a couple of people just jumping in that I know. Hey, guys. See if anyone's gonna ask anything. What I will say, as a shameless plug, because I'm learning to just grab opportunities, September's almost finished, and anybody that did want to see what the MPN journals are about, you can DM me your email address and your full name, and I can send you over the free issue, because I kind of want people to see what they're gonna be getting before I ask them to part with their money to get it. But I can also say that the prices are very affordable for the monthly subscriptions, just because I kind of had me in mind as like a mum, not employed at the moment, so this is like my main thing that I'm trying to drive. And in this current climate with COVID and furlough ending and all that crap, I know people need to kind of count the pennies. So my thing is, if you can get a delivery meal, this is your delivery meal before you put the delivery charge on. So very, very affordable for you guys. But like I said, just let me know or click in the link in my bio and you can sign up that way yourself when you're ready.
Yeah, make sure you do that. Treat yourself. Treat yourself for less than a deliverer.
Yeah, literally, it's good for the soul. The content is literally to enrich your soul. What did you think? I'll WhatsApp you to you. I'll show you how to do that.
Next up is going to be a tutorial, I think. Well, thank you so much for your time and just for sharing part of your journey. And I just know that you barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
We've been seeing so much more from you anyway.
Yeah.
And anyone who's not following you already, everyone, make sure you follow her. I'm going to put this in the link.
Follow. I feel like I need to strictly, do you know, that kind of like, follow me, call the number.
Just thank you for your transparency and your good energy and just doing it.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. These are good. I feel like the more I do, the more I'm liking it. I might start ODing on IGTV. Who knows?
Do it. It's content. Right then,
Oh,
if you're watching this on the replay, don't be afraid to share this in your stories, because you never know who might need to hear much of what we've spoken about here, especially if you've got an audience that is of women. You know, women, connecting with women is so important. Our stories interlink in so many different ways. I feel like
yeah,
if you could give us a little share, that would go a long way.
definitely. Tell your friend to tell a friend to tell a friend
Yeah,
to tell another friend.
well, to tell a whole lot. Okay?
Perfect. Thanks for having me, guys. This has
No,
been today's been lovely.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.